It's debate night. The Congressional District 34 seat in Texas is up for grabs. Squaring off for the first time, Democratic Congressman Vicente Gonzalez.
We have women dying in hospital rooms, and I think the law has gone too far.
And Republican former Congresswoman Mayra Flores.
I have my opponent pushing for late-term abortion, for abortion, because he is too lazy to actually do something.
From your local election headquarters, the battle for District 34 begins now.
Eddie from McAllen asks, what would you do to bring down the cost of food?
Thank you, Frank. Ms. Flores, you have 60 seconds.
Again, we have to reduce spending. We have to stop the overspending and the printing. We're printing trillions and trillions of dollars, and that is devaluating the dollar. We need to focus on being more energy independent. We need to drill, and that is going to bring the cost down. But again, we have to stop sending billions of dollars abroad that we don't have, while the American people here are living paycheck to paycheck. I find it a huge disrespect for our government to constantly send trillions of dollars abroad while the American people here are living paycheck to paycheck. So I believe that if we put Washington on a budget, just like we're all on a budget, I believe that that is going to reduce the cost of everything. But it's going to take a lot, just because the Biden-Harris administration have just destroyed the economy completely. And unfortunately, I wish I could say that that isn't the reality, but it's their policies that have put us in this position.
Mr. Gonzalez, same question to you. What would you do to bring down the cost of food? You have 60 seconds.
Actually, the dollar didn't devaluate. It's actually appreciated over the last 7 or 8 years. Somebody should fact check that. What we need to do is produce more food and hold these grocers responsible and producers responsible that are price gouging. There's no longer the supply line issues that we had a few years ago. And the federal government and state governments around the country and the Federal Trade Commission needs to go after this abusive behavior that continues to take advantage of the American people. It's that simple. These are proven facts. Economists are saying this across the board. Democrats and Republicans both agree on this issue. I'm surprised to hear these kind of words from this woman.
Well, voter turnout across the valley has been extremely high, and so much so that election officials are warning that those early voting numbers we usually see pretty soon could come out later than normal.
Yeah, our CBS 4's Blake Brown kicks off our election coverage over at the Brownsville Public Library on Central Boulevard. It's the busiest voting location in Cameron County, with more than 17,000 people casting their early votes at that polling location. Blake, how are the lines now?
Well, we have long lines here. As you can see behind me, we have just rows and rows of cars out here. Let me tell you, the lines are even longer on the inside. Cameron County elections officials told me 84,000 people voted early. Another 25,000 are expected to cast ballots today. The numbers were even higher in Hidalgo County, where 165,000 voters cast early ballots. Officials expect 30,000 more votes today. Cameron County Elections Administrator Remy Garza said they may delay the release of early and mail-in votes because they expect long lines at the polling places after 7 p.m. Cameron County voters will pick a new sheriff. It will be either Manny Trevino or Jimmy Manrique. They both promise similar goals if elected.
The other thing is to put more patrol in the streets so we can provide the security that our citizens must have on a daily basis.
The safety of the county, out in the streets, in the schools, and in the neighborhoods, making sure that everybody not only seems safe but feels safe.
Both are hopeful for their election chances. Polling closes at 7 for those still in line. Working for you live from Brownsville, I'm Blake Brown.
Now, possibly one of the biggest races that we're tracking here in South Texas is that for U.S. District 34, which is where current Congressman Vicente Gonzalez is facing former Congresswoman Mayra Flores. Now, this is the second time they've gone head-to-head, Derek.
Yeah, and we begin our team coverage with Jorge Vela, who's covering the Republican candidate, former Congresswoman Mayra Flores, who is at the Fairfield Inn by Marriott in Harlingen, where her watch party is just getting started. Jorge?
Yes, Mayra Flores is expected to arrive any time now. She will be hosting a watch party with her supporters. In the past few weeks, she has said momentum is on her side. Now for Gonzalez, for Flores, this has been a rematch 2 years in the making against Gonzalez. Her main focus has been to shed light on how she would do more to help the economy by working on bringing down inflation. One of the biggest issues Flores has said she will tackle in Congress is also immigration. Last month, she told us in Inside Valley Politics how she will fully support deporting those who commit crimes.
I support deporting those who are here committing crimes. We've seen over 10 million illegal immigrants cross illegally into our country. Actually, just last year alone, $450 billion was spent on housing and caring of illegal immigrants. I think it's important that we address this issue because it's bankrupting our country. We need to spend those billions of dollars in our communities, but we need to focus on those who are committing crimes.
Flores has constantly said that she is not anti-immigration, but rather that she is for border security. She also often touts that she was an immigrant too, as she was born in Tamaulipas, and that she was the first ever Mexican-born congresswoman in the country's history. Flores won a special election in 2022 to fill the seat vacated by former Democratic Congressman Filimon Vela. She was in office 6 months. In the past few days, she has had several events with top-profile Republicans like Majority Leader of the U.S. House of Representatives Steve Scalise and Senator Ted Cruz. Now, more people are expected here at the Federal Field in Harlingen as the polls close at 7 p.m. Flores posted on social media that she voted this past Friday during early voting. We'll be here live all throughout the night and have the latest at 10. Working for you in Harlingen, I'm Jorge Vela.
Jorge, thank you. That's definitely going to be one of the big races that we're going to be watching throughout the night. And our team caught up with Congressman Vicente Gonzalez as he made his final campaign stops all across the valley.
We have our team coverage tonight covering both sides of this race. Our Janelle Tanguma is live at Vicente Gonzalez's party with more on what the day looked like for Gonzalez. Janelle.
Tonight, Gonzalez will be here in Brownsville to watch as the final voting numbers come in for his Congressional District 34 race. But throughout the day, he has made sure to check in on Election Day voters as he made several stops at polling locations across the valley. Gonzalez started in San Juan and made several stops in Cameron County as well, including Harlingen and San Benito before making his way to Brownsville. But he says the legwork throughout his campaign and during early voting has led him to feel confident about what the results will be tonight.
It's been a busy day and it's been a busy cycle through early vote. We saw an increase in voting, obviously than the midterm, but almost what we had 4 years ago, which was also a high showing. So we're encouraged by that. We're proud. We're happy. We knocked on over 216,000 doors. My campaign did. So I think the work was put in, and we're starting to see the results.
Through Gonzalez's campaign, he says he's highlighted several issues such as Social Security and Medicare, funding public schools, and inflation. He made final stops in Brownsville at the public library and Burns Elementary School before he finishes the night at his watch party. Now, his watch party has been set up here at the 1848 barbecue in Brownsville, and this is where Vicente says he will expect his win tonight. Working for you, live in Brownsville, I'm Janelle Tanguma.
We're going to keep working hard, and we're going to bring it all and win this come November.
Have to stop sending billions of dollars abroad that we don't have.
We need to help people graduate from college without being overburdened.
This is the most consequential election of our lifetime.
Because it is their future that is going to determine the outcome of South Texas.
And you just heard right there from some of the candidates. CBS 4 is your election headquarters. And this election night, we have so much to talk about all of the races across South Texas. Good evening. I'm Derek Garcia.
I'm Sydney Hernandez. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in now, let's get you up to speed. Tonight, the Rio Grande Valley making our voice heard, making their choice in races that are having a huge impact across our region. It's something we saw all over. These are some photos from Harlingen that you sent us in. You can see at 5:30 p.m. Look at these lines. 75 people waiting in line to cast their ballot at the Harlingen City Hall, and they continue to go. Now, nobody left their spot. We're being told they continue to stay. People even got there at 7 p.m. and it took voters about 45 minutes to cast their ballot at this location. Now, this was the first time Cameron County was actually allowed to go to any polling location, a big move for them. Let's take you to some of the big races we're following tonight. District 34, 76% of the precincts reporting in. At this hour, we have Vicente Gonzalez, who's the current congressman, up 52%. Former Congresswoman Mayra Flores trailing behind at 48%. This is the second time they've gone for this seat. Right now, again, Vicente Gonzalez at 52%. We'll hear from both candidates later on throughout our newscast.
And a whole lot of people were listening to them during the only debate that was featured right here on CBS 4. Here are some new polling for you right now. It shows Congressman Henry Cuellar with 52% of the vote, just 58% of the precincts coming in right now over Jay Furman. He is in the lead right now with just over 7,500 votes. This is a close one that we're going to be continuing to watch both on air and online at valleycentral.com. If Furman wins, this will be his first time in office. If Cuellar wins, it'll be his 11th term.
All right, moving on to District 15, Republican Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz attempting to stay in office. Now, this is the second time de la Cruz has gone up against Democrat Michelle Vallejo, and it's looking like de la Cruz has a strong lead. Right now, 66% of the votes in. This is the rematch after Vallejo tried to unseat de la Cruz, but it's looking like Monica de la Cruz will stay on top.